Well, since
Yeah.
we have ventured into the exciting land of potential conspiracy theories, care to discuss Mr. Jeffrey Epstein and his unfortunate demise?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to tell me what you make of it to start with?
Um, well, I mean, there's certainly too much smoke for people not to reasonably suspect a fire underneath it. Um, the smoke being that the cameras were turned off, the guards weren't around, um, the suicide watch has ended. Um, all of these things raising questions, and
Hmm.
uh, and it doesn't look like anybody has particularly satisfying answers. And of course, once again, in a country where mistrust of institutions and government at large is peaking at the moment, it's not surprising that people would jump uh, to rather conspiratorial conclusions. Once again,
Yeah.
and here I'm kind of on the fence. Like I do think that coincidences are unlikely at that level of power, but they do happen. So that's kind of my fence sitting position.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, there was an incentive for him to commit suicide, for sure. And there was also probably great incentive for him to be killed by others. So both of those, you have potential either way.
What was his incentive for suicide?
Well, he's going to be shamed. His whole game is up, assuming that he was guilty of committing all of this child sexual abuse. His whole legacy is going to be thrown down the wood chipper. His family will be ashamed of him. Like, he's already been charged and served a little time for this stuff in the past, but it sounds like the shit was really going to hit the fan this time, and it
Hmm.
was all going to come to light. And he was already pretty old. I mean, like, he didn't have a whole lot of time to rehabilitate such a disastrous image if he was found guilty of all that stuff. So what exactly did he have to live for at that point? This was going to be a massive gong show.
Well, at that point, like, isn't the play for a person like that? Isn't the move to wouldn't coming clean and sinking everyone else with him be the play there?
Oh, I guess that could be fun. Sinking everyone else, just for kicks.
Not just for kicks, but like I mean, I don't imagine that however dark a person is, like I mean, unless they're a complete socio or psychopath, like I don't think that they are devoid of conscience, right? So if you realize that okay, so my life is over for all intents and purposes, like wouldn't you want to kind of drop the veil and shine some sunlight on everyone else who's been part of that?
I don't know, man. I think we're talking about a potential like serial child rapist, um, like on a nearly industrial level, like where this has become so normal to him that it's his lifestyle. Like his lifestyle is child rape. That might be overstating it. I don't know because I don't actually know that much about this case, but it sounds like his lifestyle for many years was grooming and sleeping with children under 18.
Hmm.
So like, what is his moral system at that point? Like how in touch is he anymore with sort of fundamental values of society.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I'm not really sure what the thought process would be. Certainly, the sweet release of death does sound like an appealing option there. So
Yeah,
that does make sense.
yeah, I think so. So, but I have no idea I have no idea what to believe on the whole conspiracy thing. I don't really know those details that you brought up about the lights being off and stuff, but it's certainly suspicious. I feel like we'll have better answers on that maybe in a week when we talk again. I like Ben Shapiro's take on it. I was very curious to hear what he would say about it on his podcast yesterday, and he is very much Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is likely the true one here, which is incompetence. I do put a fair bit of...
I've heard that version as well, that the prison was badly understaffed. Like the people who were supposed to be guarding him, they were on overtime. It was their like the 5th day of overtime for that guard, and I don't know what went wrong with the camera equipment and so forth, but certainly there's corroborating evidence that can indicate that can explain some of it at least. So yeah, I suppose that's fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a big conspiracy person, as in like, okay, there's a few factors here. It must have been murder, but I'm definitely, I definitely would consider it a possibility, because the incentives are there and the power behind some of those people would have been enormous.
Yeah, because like there was a release of some documents just the previous day, and was he not supposed to testify about the going-ons of his island and the visitors and so forth?
Yeah, that would have been part of it. For sure he could take down other people if there were other people guilty.
Yeah.
So the incentives are there. Yeah, I'd like to hear actually all the true facts, which I think are still just emerging now.
Right.
Before I decide whether I think it's a conspiracy or not, I want to hear all of those facts about the lights being off, the guards being on overtime pay, etc. And then weigh out like what is the most likely model here to fit that data.
Right. Well, that's very scientific of you. Okay then. Well.
Yeah, I'm not a big believer in bullshit.
Good to know. Good to know, my good man.